Havoline Football Saturdays. It whets the appetite for football fans all summer long, the hot summer days. Tim Brando, of course, the host. Looking ahead to the show, Tim, what do you think fans latch onto this show so much about? What is it that makes the show so fun?
There's an insatiable appetite, Jeff, for college football information all the time. Give us access, greater access. A lot of times it's difficult for coaches during the year to allow as much access. I think they do in the offseason a great deal more. You get to see them in a relaxed setting. That's number one. And this is both with current coaches and maybe a chance to go back and remind some of the young fans of today about some of the iconic figures in college football from a bygone era. We like to do that too. And the other thing, I think, with Tommy Kane's features, his road trips that we have, it enables a lot of the fans who really always thought that the main girl in town was the tailgating and not the game. It enables them to sort of see themselves. And we live in a culture that loves to people watch. And,
That's
and,
true.
And the show does some of that too.
Now, coming up on the show, I know one of the great segments I'm really looking forward to. You talked to Bobby Bowden. He returns to Doak finally this year.
Yeah.
How is he looking at that return?
Well, listen, I've met a ton of legends in this business, from Frank Howard to Bear Bryant, Joe Paterno. I go on and on about the guys that I've had a chance to meet through my years in this business, but there's no better man that ever coached the game than Bobby Bowden. And his ability, unlike some of the other coaches that we would wonder whether they could handle the modern day internet athlete, we know about Bobby. Yeah. Bobby made the transition from old school to new school. And that run of 14 straight years, I think, being in the top 5 at the end of every season, is the greatest run of my lifetime. Of any, I mean, if we'd had a playoff during the 14-year run that Bobby Bowden had, both pre and during the ACC years that Florida State came in, then he would probably have 7 national titles. That team was that good for a long period of time. They were the equivalent of the Atlanta Braves winning that many divisional titles. It was just an amazing run. Bobby, he didn't get to leave the way he wanted to leave. And I think all coaches that have his record, his background, want to be able to call their own shot. He wrote a book immediately after it was released before the first season for Jimbo Fisher. I think it was cathartic for him because there was some remorse, for not for himself, but for the way it all ended. And now I think enough time has passed that he can go back, enjoy, and remember what was great about the experience in Tallahassee, even though maybe there were some administratively that maybe ushered him out the door a year too soon in his own mind. And we talk about that in the piece. We do. I've known him long enough that I feel like I can ask any question and even, impersonate him from time to time.
Yeah, give me a little Bobby.
Well, Charlie Ward, I was talking about Charlie. I asked him once when Charlie went in a shotgun. They came from like 19 points down to beat Georgia Tech in a big game before he won the Heisman Trophy. And this was actually after they had lost a game to Miami, and they couldn't lose this game if they wanted to stay in the hunt nationally that year. And this was at Bobby Dodd Stadium. And he said, "Timmy, Brad Scott, the old Clemson coordinator and South Carolina head coach, was his coordinator back there." He said, Brad told me he's not like a quarterback. He's like he never played quarterback, Timmy. Charlie threw the javelin. Charlie ran track. Charlie was a point guard. Charlie never played quarterback. He was so much better in the shotgun than he was under center.
That's true.
He said, that Timmy, that peripheral thing, that peripheral vision thing. He said, you know what? He's got that. You know what? And he didn't have the other went back to fade back. He didn't have that. We stayed in the shotgun because we were down 18, won the ball game. We stayed in all season long. That's what we did with Charlie. Charlie was quiet. Charlie was javelin. Charlie was track. Charlie never played quarterback. He's the best. Absolutely the best.
It's funny because I enjoy talking to Jimbo. I think Jimbo's fun as well because he talks a mile a minute. So.
He goes fast, and there's always that reminder of, you know what? That's one of those Foxworthy Southern things. You know it real fast. You know it?
Now, I do know, last thing before we go, on the last episode of Havoline Football Saturdays, you give us your national title prediction, and there's some ACC flavor in there?
Yeah. future ACC
Okay.
flavor.
All right.
I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
Future ACC.
We'll let people
flavor
put two and two together there. We won't ask you for the specific team names, but I think our fans are smart enough to put that
they'll
together.
like that. Yeah.
All right, Tim Brando. Thank you very much. Go to theACC.com to check out the full Havoline Football Saturdays schedule, as well as the network dates and times.